more ministers resign from PNC. As 7 Pangu MPs join Marape camp. And the country has a new Chief Magistrate.
This is the National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Media Freedom Day. There appears to have been a major crack in the ruling PNC-led coalition, with the Health, Forest and Defence ministers announcing their resignations from their portfolios and from the People's National Congress Party. Telefomin MP Solan Marape, who announced his resignation, has called on other MPs to leave the coalition. Mr. Marape told the news conference that during the PNC caucus meeting on Wednesday, Abao MP Sir Pukatemu asked the Prime Minister to resign. A negative response to the question led to the defections and resignations.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
This would be the third faction of PNC MPs defecting and announcing their resignation from ministerial portfolios. Health Minister Sir Pukatemu made it clear that the resignation follows Prime Minister Peter O'Neill's decision not to step down as PNC leader.
Our position is very, very clear, and for me personally, those of you who have been following my political life and of recent times, in our recent PNC caucus meeting, the nation is aware of my position, that I did ask the Prime Minister to put the leadership issue on the PNC table for discussion. Because of the many issues that Minister Marape has already informed the nation, and we are taking the cue, including those of you who are made aware of the Deputy Prime Minister's comments in the PNC party regarding the way under Prime Minister Peter O'Neill's leadership, the way the country has been led. And for those of us, myself, been with the Prime Minister since he became Prime Minister in 2011, I have watched the way he has managed the country. And for me, coming out is to confirm that I am also dissatisfied with the manner and the way in which the Prime Minister has been administering his leadership in running Papua New Guinea.
Government whip and PNC strongman Solan Marape says the government is for the 8 million plus people and the country must be consulted at all levels. He says this was not the case in most decisions by Cabinet.
As a Minister for Defence, who is also the second termer and who has been in this party, People's National Congress Party, for the second term and also been in there for 7 years. This term was in NEC. I've seen a lot of things that is not right.
So far, 5 government ministers have resigned and is setting PNC. Forest Minister Douglas Tumuriasa says the leaders want change and this is the time.
The Prime Minister himself cannot continue to maintain the House. In the Westminster system, when you lose confidence of your caucus and of your government, you need to put the leadership on the table. And that call was made very clear by Sir Pukatemu, by Deputy Prime Minister Charles Sable, and myself at a caucus. And it is only proper that the Prime Minister respects the caucus and put on the table the leadership to be discussed. And because of that failure to do so, it is within our power as leaders, elected to the same office that he also holds, that we make this decision today.
Taripori MP James Marape says the group is not focused on the vote of no confidence but want change in running the affairs of the country. He also clarified that his group is in close contact with the opposition team.
Now people are crying, and so we're getting together and coming together as like-minded leaders. Hopefully together we can set a new pace in which this country can go beyond our time into the next generation. And I think the common cat's cry amongst us, like-minded, is, and let me borrow another great Papuan leader, the Honorable Gary Jufa's word, take back Papua New Guinea.
The other 7 MPs to resign from PNC include Western Province Governor Daulo MP, Talasia MP, Engoram MP, Karamui Nomane Usino Bundi and Maprik MP.
The Prime Minister has been kind enough to visit my district in the short time that I moved over and stayed with PNC, and I'd like to say thank you very much for his time and for his leadership. It's not only our call, it's the call of the 8.5 million people of Papua New Guinea. That's what you wanted.
We must mobilize the same kind of thinking so that we can be able to see the future of this country, and the potentials that we have must be developed appropriately.
According to Taripori MP James Marape, more resignation is expected over the next 72 hours. Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, Samare Mura MP EC Henry Leonard has appealed to all Southern Region MPs to resign from the People's National Congress. MP Leonard says it is time for leaders to stand for their people and nation. He says this is the time if government leadership is to be changed.
This is the moment that we must come together. We must unite. We need to set aside our own political, own party, own whatever interest that we have. We need to set it aside. We need to come together for one common reason, and that is we all have similar challenges. We all have similar problems. That we all have, and we can't deny that. And this is the moment given by the provision of our Constitution, which is the vote of no confidence. This is the moment where we, the Papuan leaders, should now come to our senses, come to some common consciousness that we need to unite together and make our presence known, make our presence felt. Because we have the numbers. I believe we have the numbers. And with that number, I think we can make a great difference. I think we can make a great difference in bringing about this change that we all aspire.
Late this afternoon, 7 members of the Pangu party joined the Marape camp. Soon after resigning from Pangu, the 7 MPs were welcomed at Laguna by Marape and other leaders. Speaking on their behalf, Central Governor Robert Agarobe said their stand is to change government leadership. Marape Governor Ginson Saunu says the country has not been managed well despite the vast resources available. Saunu says this is the time to stop the current leadership for the good of the nation.
It's just to show our support and here to actually change the O'Neill government, because we believe that we are a young team and the country needs a new direction.
To move with this team is the call for PNG and the call for Gwella is bigger than myself. So I thought that I should be better utilized in a young, vibrant, and like-minded team of leaders where we could change the course of this country.
We now have to stop somewhere. Somebody has to make a stop somewhere. And the duties and responsibilities to make change are the people who are mandated. And who are they? It's us.
So I now call on all other politicians that we stand. Remember who voted you in, the guy on the street, our people that voted us in. Make certain that you follow your principles. Do not follow anything else. Follow your principles. Now, Sanaplo, make Papua New Guinea a better Papua New Guinea. That's what we got voted into. So I stand with like-minded people. I also call on our partners, our line Wantok Morobena, or line Lo Mipla Lex Pangu, the balance 8. May call him all, please come join him Mipla. You may try and guide him for a better Papua New Guinea.
This afternoon, Sam Basil announced his resignation along with those of 15 other Pangu party members. Basil says since 2014 he has been challenged by the party's executives and it has been a battle for him. He said issues like this have continued and it was time he left the party.
Since 2014, when I took over the party, I was challenged. It was an uphill battle for me. We never had a convention. We went to 2017 national elections. All the members that competed under the banner of Pangu Party, the executives field candidates against each and every one of us, including me as a leader. And the fight continues. They sacked me once. The members voted me back, and then they got the provincial executive to sack me twice. So this cannot go any longer. We have to give the party back to Patrick Pundao and Maurice Tovebaya to take the party to 22 election, and we wish them best of luck. Thank you.
You're with National EMTV News this Friday. The day's other stories when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Mark Pupaka has been appointed as new Chief Magistrate. His appointment announced by Justice Minister and Attorney General Alfred Manasseh today. Pupaka takes over from Neri Eliakim, who has been Chief Magistrate for the last 7 years.
At this juncture, on behalf of the government, I'd like to...
Attorney General Alfred Manasseh this morning announced the country's new Chief Magistrate in the presence of several senior magistrates and members of the Department of Justice and Attorney General.
The term of the current acting Chief Magistrate expired last night at 12 o'clock, and at the same time the Judicial and Legal Services Commission appointed Principal Magistrate Mark Pupaka as the Chief Magistrate of Papua New Guinea effective as of today. He's been sworn in accordance with the organic law by the Chief Justice already.
Chief Magistrate Mark Pupaka takes over from Neri Eliakim, whose contract has expired. According to Attorney General Manasseh, there are high expectations for the incoming Chief Magistrate, especially in regards to speeding up the process of dealing with cases at the district court levels.
Ordinary Papua New Guineans must still see and feel justice being served in the districts right across the country. We're all the 89 districts, and my dream is to have all of those districts served by magistrates.
Pupaka has had close to 30 years' experience in the legal profession, having been appointed to the National Court Bar in 1992 and working his way up the magisterial system to the position of Principal Magistrate at the time of his appointment. According to Chief Magistrate Pupaka, he will be looking to carry on the reforms started by the former Chief Magistrate with a specific emphasis on improving access to simple, efficient magisterial systems throughout the country.
You can only judge magistrates in the way they write judgments. That's the assessment point. Whether they've got it right in accordance with the law or whether they've got it right in aligning the facts of the case to be able to arrive at the just result, right result. It's all demonstrated, it's all recorded on the judgment writing thing. So we are continuously, as an organization, to improve on magistrate judgment writing. As we begin to recruit, the art of writing judgments is the first thing that we impart to new coming magistrates.
Marape, National EMTV News.
One landowner group of the Papua LNG project has expressed dissatisfaction in the way the Gulf provincial government has handled the Memorandum of Understanding. They said documents such as the MOU must have wider consultations with landowners before it is endorsed. Purari Development Association General Secretary Roy Evara Jr. said the provincial government has no right to decide for the landowners.
Main issue to discuss with you.
Purari Development Association, as the umbrella body representing all landowners, yesterday expressed their concern, saying they are not happy with the way the Gulf provincial government handled the Memorandum of Understanding. PDA General Secretary Roy Daniel Evara said for the governor and the Provincial Executive Council to endorse the MOU is not right, and they are questioning why they were not consulted.
We have a right to know what has been negotiated from the resource that we have been looking after since creation. It is not for you to decide and to cover up what you think is going to be given to you and to take it back to the state and then to decide what you feel should be given to us.
The Papua LNG gas project is an important project and means a lot to the people and the landowners. However, to date, there has been no proper consultations with the people and their views are not included in the MOU. PDA President Roy Everest said the provincial government must not try to dominate the process. He said proper consultations must be done with the landowners for collective benefits for all.
We have the right to be consulted. Even our council president should be brought up to such a meeting together with us and do it together for collective benefit of all our people. The EUs are here, we are organized now. The Baimurus are there, here together. We want to do it better for our people.
According to former Governor Havila Kavo, any document such as the MOU must be endorsed by the National Executive Council. He said this process has never been exhausted and the PEC's decision to pass the MOU is not right. He also made reference to the Oil and Gas Act, saying amendments must be done to the Act to give resource owners maximum benefits.
Many of us who are here calling ourselves resource owners are not covered in any benefit agreement because we are only being paid for the use of your land. But you're not a resource owner at all. Therefore, there is a call to the appropriate authorities to immediately review the Gas and Oil Act, Resource Act, to give resource ownership back to the people, which is happening in many parts of the world.
The member for Kikori also said similar sentiments on this issue, saying the MOU has not yet been approved by the NEC, and the provincial government is too quick to endorse the MOU.
MOU of that nature has financial and legal implication, and it must follow through government processes, one of which is to be cleared by the State Solicitor's Office. And that process has not been exhausted.
However, in a media conference yesterday, Gulf Governor Chris Haiveta brushed aside all statements from all landowner parties. He said all comments from the landowners and the Kikori MP were irrelevant and the real landowners had not yet been identified. He said consultations will only be made in a development forum.
The consultations only happen if a development forum is called. There is no development forum yet. We have not got to the stage of identifying real landowners. And the consultations are between government to government. It's not between me and the landowners because it doesn't concern the landowners yet. These are big issues.
Rayon Lakingu National, MTV News.
Cocoa farmers in the autonomous region of Bougainville are seeing positive returns from their cocoa trees. The Productive Partnership in Agriculture Project, or PPAP, is equipping farmers with new farm management techniques so that they make profit despite the presence of the cocoa pod borer pest. And for the farmers, it's a way forward that is changing their lives in the region that suffered from a 10-year civil war.
Peter Kinana is a cocoa farmer in Buin in the autonomous region of Bougainville. He owns a little over 2 hectares of land where he planted with cocoa trees. He is one of many other cocoa farmers in the region who are seeing positive results from their cocoa blocks.
People orman ori sabe wini milong oro kakao. Lo abestim oro kakao. Now mi sabe some good production blom milong block blom mi.
At the buying point, a bag of dried cocoa beans can fetch up to 450 kina. In this cocoa block owned by Mr. Kinana, he says he has recently harvested about 3 bags of dried cocoa beans. That's equivalent to about 1,400 kina.
People me no sabe lo only slakan walk where. Now me walk lo look walk na me walk lo kisim good plavlo this la or block lo me.
The autonomous region of Bougainville used to be one of the largest contributors of PNG cocoa exports in the 1990s, but a combination of the Bougainville Civil War and the coming of the cocoa pod borer pest caused many cocoa farmers to abandon their cocoa blocks.
Which is plenty manually clone cacao. But I think even can talk. You try and past time now you can talk. Prove him.
Since 2012, the World Bank-funded PPAP project has made inroads into the affected areas in the region to encourage the farmers to go back into the cocoa business. And so far, new results have emerged, spurred by the work carried out through the PPAP project. But unlike before, confidence in the crop is slowly returning to the region that once suffered from a decade of civil war. And for cocoa farmers like Peter Kinana and Timothy Kolubai, it has changed their family's way of life in a very big way. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Now, this week has been one of a kind since the 2017 elections. Exactly 1 week ago, the governors for Hela, Southern Highlands and Enga resigned. This was followed by more resignations today as dissatisfied MPs left the PNC-led coalition. More developments are expected later tonight. Here's Scott Wider with This Week in Review.
It has been a big week so far in PNG politics. Votes of no confidence are usually big discussion topics anyway. The movements and announcements caught nearly everyone outside of political circles off guard. And this gathering at the Parliament House State Function Room exactly 7 days ago did just that and added new heights to the political frenzy. The PNC's closest supporters, members of the PM's inner circle, and those who many expected to be the last to desert the coalition did so with a lot of fanfare. Enga Governor Peter Ipatas led the press conference announcing his resignation. Southern Highlands Governor William Powie, William Tonga from Jiwaka and Hela's Philip Undialu followed. The cracks were already appearing, but not many saw the Enga governor announcing his exit. His statement was diplomatic, at least during the press conference, but Philip Undialu, however, let loose.
Now, what happened to all the funds? What happened to it? We have issues of declining in foreign currency, which shouldn't be the case.
His primary focus at the press conference was LNG benefits, and what he didn't say he compensated for with a 5-page press statement expressing his disagreements with the PM's leadership. And today was perhaps another big day in PNG politics. All eyes turned to Port Moresby, where Puka Tamu, the man hammered over the medicine shortages and the bad supply chain, resigned from the PNC-led government. He was followed by 7 other MPs who also demanded that the PM resign during the caucus meeting on Wednesday. For this weekend, MPs will be working overtime as they try to shore up numbers in their camps. As of 5 p.m. this afternoon, another meeting at Laguna Hotel in Port Moresby. The outcome should be out later tonight.
Stories making headlines overseas when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas now, the political tension in Venezuela has put Russia, Maduro's key backer, at sharp odds with the United States. That's because the Trump administration recognizes the National Assembly President Juan Guaido as Venezuela's head of state.
Tonight, the crisis in Venezuela rapidly turning into a standoff between the U.S. and Russia, Washington accusing Moscow of meddling in America's backyard.
Look, the Russians like nothing better than putting a thumb in our eye. It's not ideological. It's just good old-fashioned power politics. That's why we have the Monroe Doctrine, which we're dusting off in this administration. It's
Russia's foreign minister firing back.
I believe that the boldly announced intentions of returning to the doctrine, which is 200 years old, is disrespectful, not only to the Venezuelan people, but in general, to the people of Latin America.
While the Trump administration supports Venezuela's opposition leader Juan Guaido and says embattled President Nicolas Maduro must step down immediately, Russia remains fully committed to Maduro. Secretary of State Pompeo even telling CNN the Russians talked Maduro out of leaving office.
He had an airplane on the tarmac. He was ready to leave this morning, as we understand it, and the Russians indicated he should stay.
Maduro and the Russians deny that version of events. Meanwhile, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton saying Moscow is undermining American interests in Latin America.
But this is our hemisphere. It's not where the Russians ought to be interfering. This is a mistake on their part. It's not going to lead to an improvement of relations.
Nicolas Maduro is a long-standing ally of Vladimir Putin. The Russians flew nuclear-capable bombers to Venezuela last year, a direct show of force against the U.S. And even now, the Russians have soldiers on the ground in Venezuela, though Moscow claims they're only trainers and maintenance personnel. While President Trump and Vladimir Putin have repeatedly declared their mutual admiration for one another, the crisis in Venezuela could be turning into a high-stakes game of chicken between Washington and Moscow. President Trump alluding to the option of U.S. military force in an interview with Fox Business.
And we're doing everything we can do, short of, the ultimate. There are people that would like to have us do the ultimate.
And the Russians, for their part, certainly showing no signs of backing down. Moscow says it wants to mobilize other countries in the United Nations to counteract what it calls America's schemes in places like Venezuela.
A terrorist who plotted to blow himself up in the New York subway system will walk free from jail. Najibullah Zazi has spent 10 years in prison, but today a judge said the 33-year-old will be released after giving authorities vital information about Al-Qaeda.
It was the stunning arrest. FBI agents escorting the terrorist off a chopper in shackles. His plot to bomb the New York City subway system was called one of the most serious threats to the U.S. since 9/11.
This attempted attack on our homeland was real. It was in motion, and it would have been deadly.
But tonight, 33-year-old Najibullah Zazi will soon be a free man. A federal judge telling him this once unthinkable second chance has come your way, and you earned it. Zazi traveled to Pakistan in 2008, training with Al-Qaeda in weapons and explosives. When he returned to the U.S., he and two friends in Denver hatched the subway plot, planning to build bombs with beauty products. Seen here shopping for supplies. Zazi then driving it all across the country and into New York City over the George Washington Bridge. It was here he learned the FBI was onto him and fled, but they got him. He pleaded guilty, facing life in prison, and then provided what prosecutors today call extraordinary cooperation in America's fight against Al-Qaeda, revealing key details of the terrorist group's training, movements, and recruitment methods, meeting with investigators more than 100 times. Prosecutors say he put his own life at risk and deserves a reduced sentence, insisting Zazi has repudiated terrorist ideology. A judge agreed and sentenced him to time served. His lawyer calls that justice.
Mr. Zazi, who I met a long time ago, almost 10 years ago, who was a young man, has changed dramatically. The reality is that the light at the end of the tunnel is extremely bright for him.
300 passengers, including crew on board a cruise ship in the Caribbean, have been quarantined after one person tested positive for measles. The ship, reportedly owned by the Church of Scientology, is now stuck in St. Lucia.
Tonight, a reported 300 passengers and crew remain under quarantine on the Free Winds cruise ship on the Caribbean island of St. Lucia.
The confirmed case, as well as other crew members, are presently stable, but remain under surveillance by the ship's doctor.
That doctor requesting 100 doses of the measles vaccine, which can give some protection if given within 3 days of exposure.
We'll take you aboard the Free Winds, the Church of Scientology's religious retreat and humanitarian ship.
The Free Winds, shown here in a promotional video, is reportedly owned by the Church of Scientology and used for religious retreats and advanced spiritual counseling. The CDC is already tracking the worst measles spike in the U.S. in decades, more than 700 cases across 22 states, the outbreak mostly hitting people who are unvaccinated.
It can actually stay in the air for up to 2 hours, and if you walk into a room where somebody had previously had measles, it is possible to get infected.
You're with National EMTV News. After the break, some sporting updates in Chukai Sports. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. PNG Sports Foundation, through its high-performance sports program, has signed a partnership agreement with Nestlé through its product brand Milo. Present to sign the agreement were managers from Nestlé and CEO of PNG Sports Foundation, Peter Chamalili Jr. The 3-month partnership will allow staff and managers of Nestlé to use high-performance services.
First and foremost, we'll get the official part of
the 3-month partnership with Milo will see Nestlé staff use the gym and other similar services high-performance sport delivers to elite athletes. To witness the signing of the partnership, present were staff and managers of Nestlé and CEO of PNG Sports Foundation, Peter Chamalili Jr., along with staff of PNG High Performance.
Got nutritional benefits. It's got all the vitamins and minerals that are good for an athlete. Our Milo brand rides on sports. Like Milo is about sports and energy, fueling future champions. So I thought it was an ideal opportunity, to partner with them.
The Sports Foundation CEO welcomed Nestlé as its first corporate client to use the high-performance facilities and services.
So miao mastret lo this la initiative na this la dynamics lo this la partnership and mi good la stret na mi osam na mi one bell of support team na mi talk thank you straight for the joint initiative, and I know that there's going to be extra value where you also be part of an active partnership, not just promoting the product, but you yourself are going to be ambassadors of this house.
Straight after the speeches, the signing of the 3-month agreement. Brand Activation Manager Gabriel Manoi and Marketing Manager Angeline Baker says it's all about keeping fit and healthy.
Apart from other activities, in terms of association of the brand to the gym, it could be the first time. It's also about creating shared value. We do that to our external environment, and also we'd like to reflect it back to our own staff back in the office. So, yeah.
There's a lot of people, especially the young, a lot of diseases, so it's a really great way to actually go out, have fun as a team, and that's what it's all about. Being healthy, yeah? We all want to be healthy and to live long.
Group sessions for the Nestlé team will be on Wednesday and individual sessions on any other weekdays. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Rugby League Sport for Development Program League Belong Life has been supported by Milo since its partnership with the program in 2017. Apart from Milo, Nestlé also uses its brand Meji to also promote balanced eating habits, nutrition and hygiene in rural communities. Sampling and Events Manager for Nestlé, Hilda Sapol, says it's all about creating shared value riding on the brands.
According to Activation Manager Gabriel Manoi, says Nestlé's support towards young boys and girls in the League Belong Life Rugby League program is growing stronger since Nestlé started helping the program in 2017.
League Belong Life program is a program that is driven by PNG NRL, which they've started, I think, 3 years back now. We've been in this partnership for since 2017. It's grown since then, and it's getting stronger by the day. We're actually reaching schools. This is in association with the Department of Education.
League Belong Life Rugby League School program uses the popularity of League to deliver key messages about education and respect. Just like Milo, Maggie also runs a similar program called Maggie Hamamas Day, where they visit women in the rural communities to educate them on nutrition, healthy cooking practices, and the importance of physical education.
And it's basically promoting good nutrition, health and wellness, eating a balanced meal 3 times a day, exercise, drink lots of water. So we do that for the urban settings, and also it's a bit like League Belong Life. It's our Creating Shared Value program. riding on the brands. So League Belong Life, Milo, Maggie Hamamas Day, Maggie.
The Maggie Hamamas Day now is in its 10th year and has visited more than 400 villages.
And that's, like I said, that's our purpose at Nestle, enhancing quality of life and contributing to a healthier future.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues with more after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The stage is set and ready for the world title kickboxing showdown at the Sir John Guy's Indoor Complex. International fighters arrived in the country today and are prepared for their fights tomorrow.
The world title kickboxing showdown featuring PNG's Best of the Best versus the Rest of the World 3 is set to be a thriller. The sale of tickets and corporate tables has been successful.
We've got 16 corporate tables all booked up, and that's very impressive. I think this would be, we have hosted about 4 international level events in here.
The showdown starts at 9 a.m. in the morning, with the main bouts to be held later in the afternoon. Fighters from different provinces in the country have traveled into Port Moresby.
About 7 provinces are here. It's very encouraging to see Team Millen Bay. 2016, they had 2 gold medals for the province, and the sport has been really big there, and it's good to see them. And of course, other major provinces who have been pretty much in kickboxing, and they're all here to support the international fighters will be taking the ring. So
the Sir John Guy Stadium Indoor Complex is expected to be packed, with many supporters out to cheer on PNG's best.
We are expecting the house is going to be in full capacity. That's what we're looking at, and like the concept of Rest of the World versus PNG, this is number 3. I think it's one of the biggest events.
With this event, they hope to build a platform to host more international events and help expose PNG kickboxers to the world.
Sport in terms of kickboxing, it's we've got to look at how we can improve in terms of the standards. Our fighters now, they're all professionals. It was just one person actually on the ring, and now I'm behind the scene, and I want to raise these next lot of fighters. And the setting, the impression has to be on a different level.
Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Rickson Yamo and Lee Garup are ready for the world title kickboxing showdown tomorrow. Yamo and Garup have been training for the past 4 months in preparation for this event. Both fighters are confident they will win their fights.
All my fights, all the people, all the international fighters coming over, I normally don't study them. But I heard that he's a range fighter. Yeah, he's a range fighter and he's taller than me. But I've fought a lot of tall people and I beat them, and I think I'll keep on going close to him and chopping with his legs. Yeah.
Tough fight, but that bloke is from Australia, so I know it's going to be a tough fight, but I believe in myself and I'm confident that I'll make my country proud and my family and my classmates proud. But when I won the world title back in 2014, I haven't defended my world title, so this, after 5 years, this is my first time to defend my world title, so yeah, can't wait.
In swimming, an enthusiastic PNG swim team that departed Port Moresby on April 24th to attend at the Arafura Games in Darwin, Australia, arrived back in Port Moresby yesterday. The 13 swimmers competed alongside swimmers from the Australian states of Northern Territory, Queensland, New South Wales, Western Australia, and including international swimmers from Cook Islands, Solomon Islands, Indonesia, Malaysia and the Philippines. Our swimmers raked in 21 medals.
The Papua New Guinea swim team received 21 medals overall, including individual and relay medals, along with lots of personal best times being recorded throughout the competition. 6 medals awarded to female swimmers were Rehema Kalate, who received a bronze medal in the 50-meter breaststroke, Brittany Murray, who won silver in the 50-meter backstroke, 200-meter backstroke and 50-meter butterfly, bronze in the 100-meter backstroke, and and Tia Mare, who was awarded a bronze in the 50-meter breaststroke event.
It was a great experience for me, having the games being not hosted for a while. And coming back is just great for our development squad to go out there and experience and have that exposure. So it's been great for everyone.
9 medals were awarded to male swimmers. Elijah Akunai, who received 2 bronze medals in the 50 and 100-meter butterfly events. Leonard Kalate, who received 2 silver medals for the 50-meter breaststroke and 200-meter breaststroke, and 2 bronze medals for the 100-meter freestyle and 100-meter breaststroke.
Yes, this is my first Arafura Games. The games were really fun. We got to see some swimmers from different countries and compete against them. And yeah, most of us got PVs and a few of us medaled. Yeah, we're really happy with the results from the games and everything we've experienced from it.
Teammate Livingstone Aika got a silver medal in the 50-meter butterfly and 2 bronze medals in the 50-meter and 100-meter backstroke events.
Elijah Akunai, he swam extremely well. Yeah, winning some medals for the country in his individual events and smashing his own PBs. So extremely well by him and the rest of the team members.
With the 2019 Pacific Games team yet to be finalised by PNG Swimming Inc., results from the Arafura Games in Darwin, Australia will also be used to make selections for the Pacific Games.
This was like an indicator for the results to come in the Pacific Games, and so far so good. And now it's just back to more training before we head off to Pacific Games in June.
Coach Rick Vanderzent, who praised the swimmers for their outstanding performance, says the competition is complete, but all the athletes are now thinking about their preparations and what they can do now to make improvements in and out of the pool before the next competition. Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Shukai Sports. The weather details for the next 24 hours when we come back.
Shukai Sports. True Kai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Fine weather in Port Moresby and Popondetta. A shower or 2 in Daru, Kerama and Alotau. In the Mamasa region, fine although cloudy in Lae and Wau. Brief showers in Medang, Wewak and Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, a shower or 2 right across the region in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, fine weather right across the region in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Friday, the 3rd of May 2019. On behalf of the entire news team, have a safe weekend. Take care. Good night.